So the return of the Invest podcast. Welcome back. I'm Isaac, and thanks for joining me today. So today, really, I'm just going to get straight into it. It's been a hiatus for a bit of time, but I really want to talk about the return. And the key of today's topic is the return of your focus, the return of your intention, the war on your intention. Now that sounds a bit dramatic, but it's true. I think we are right now in a war for our attention. There's so many things distracting our focus away from our goals, from our purpose, and perhaps where we want to be. And I truly believe that it's got to a level where attention is a currency. How focused you can be, how attentive you can be, ultimately can determine the value you can provide in certain situations. And the war on our attention continues to grow, continues to get harder. There's more and more things in our lives as we go through, or maybe even with technological evolution, that is taking away our attention. And I want to set the context here for what I'm going to speak about later, which is that the average attention span in humans is now 8 seconds. In the year 2000, it was 12 seconds. So we've gone down by quite a bit there. Now let's even focus this at a higher level. So you may have heard of attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, or ADHD. The diagnosis for that is attention span are about 4.1 seconds. So the drop we've had since 2000 to where we're at now is 4 seconds already. And for a diagnosis of ADHD, it is 4 seconds. So it's amazing. And then even more to that, with social media in the current age we're in, the average person is exposed to about 5,000 advertisements every day through some platform. That's YouTube, your TV, your radio, your phone. In some way, there's almost 5,000 subtle advertisements, things we don't see, and they are all micro little increments of time that add up to take away from your attention. So I really want to discuss that today, and maybe discuss how we can sort of improve our attention and steps that along with myself. I'm going along this journey too, to improve my attention and to steal back the currency of our attention, so that we can focus for longer periods of time. But it's my return, and the podcast format is always the same. I introduce the topic, I discuss something new that I've tried for the week, and then I actually get into the content. So having introduced the topic, now I would like to say my new thing for the week, which has been waking up 1 hour earlier. Just 1 hour, right? I think that, as the day goes by and we get really busy throughout the day, and our fatigue levels can, rise as we get more tired and more going on, we need to have time set aside to be really focused, to be really attentive. And the way I've done that is just waking up slightly a bit earlier. So for example, if I have to get up at 7 one day, I'm waking up at 6. Now, where is that hour coming from? Am I losing sleep? Some days, yes, I might be sleeping less. But for me, the benefit of 1 hour of extra work in the morning, fresh and ready to go, feels like it supersedes that extra hour of sleep. And I'm a huge advocate for, getting sleep. And I'm not saying to sort of get into this hustle culture where you don't sleep. But truly, I found that just waking up a little bit earlier, maybe for you it's 20 minutes, 30 minutes, can just really reset the day. It can help you. So maybe you can do the journaling in the morning, reflection, maybe it's doing a little bit of extra study. Maybe it's planning the rest of your day so that you're much more focused and streamlined of where you need to go. Or maybe it's just as easy as, that extra 30 minutes in the morning can help you pack lunch so you're not buying lunch, right? There's so many little things you can do with extra time in the day. And I just feel that my thing for the week has been just waking up 1 hour earlier, and it has just been amazing. I felt this week has been, much improved in that sense, and I'm going to continue to do that. And excited to speak about, my thing of the week next week. Now, let's get into today's topic. So I've set the scene. Attention span's going down. You're probably like, Isaac, I already know this. So what do we do? So I think you need to find a sustainable system to help revert you back to focus. So I've kind of broken down to the 6 actionable steps that I think can help. So firstly is the physical, that will be preceding the mental. So your mental state will follow your physical state. So what does that mean? So setting aside an environment or a clear place that you can really focus in, right? So that could be a study desk where it's clear, not cluttered, right? Focused on work, right? Eliminating distractions, putting your phone in another room, something as simple as that, right? I've made it a big effort to not have my study space in my room, because I know that perhaps I won't be as focused. Okay, so that's the first thing, right? Remembering your mental state will follow your physical state. So, make sure you set up an area where you can focus, right? And then just as simple as, okay, acknowledging that maybe my attention is going to waver. So I need to break down whatever task I'm about to get into smaller, manageable chunks, right? So instead of doing, 1 hour of maybe studying or 1 hour of work, maybe I can do 3 by 20 minutes, right? With small breaks in between that are more productive for that 20 minutes overall. Right. And taking those breaks is the next tip, really having a break of 5 minutes just to reset and let yourself be distracted and just let your mind wander and then refocus, which can be a challenge, but you do need to have that time perhaps to get a drink, to walk around, to get moving. The next is to use a positive reinforcement to sort of stay on task. Psychology shows that when you have that positive reinforcement, it's so powerful to help you going in the right direction. So if you are, on track with the task, have something as a reward to tell yourself that, yeah, wow, what I've been doing is great. So maybe it is, if I do, if I can focus on 20 minutes and, get this done, I will call my friend, I'll have a phone call with my friend, brief, have a chat, and that really reinforces it. And I guess also normalize within your discussions with your friends, saying how focused you've been, saying the work you've got done. I think we find that a bit cringy, like, oh yeah, I've been really focused and I've been, doing my work and I've got a new study space, I've decluttered my desk. When actual fact, I think most people are like, wow, like, yeah, maybe I'll do that. Maybe, you pass by that sort of initial cringiness. And you might feel that, wow, like I should do that too. Or you're both discussing how you can be more productive. I do feel that, it's always that initial like, oh, why am I telling my friend this? But it actually, if they really care about you, they'll be happy that you're, becoming more productive. And the next thing is actually retraining your mind. Now, this is a huge thing. I probably might one day do the whole podcast about it. But if you can sort of delve into mindfulness or meditation and there's breathing techniques, they can be a game changer. And I myself am going to sort of come up with a protocol and experiment on myself of what works within that field. I've tried meditation before. I've tried sort of box breathing techniques, and I need to sort of look at the research in the area and filter it. But for you guys, maybe it is looking at doing a guided meditation, or playing some, certain hertz frequency sound on YouTube or something, just to get your mind focused before you actually, go do a task that requires your attention. And I think the last tip I want to say is just think about all the other factors that feed in. We're a holistic organism, right? We need to be, well rested. We need to exercise well. We need the healthy diet. All those factors will play into how attentive you can be. I'm sure we can acknowledge that, those periods where perhaps you're having junk food or not, eating as well as you can, not exercising, not sleeping well, attention and focus is just not going to be part of your system of where you're going. So I think that's really important, going forward, is what can I address around me, right, to help me as a person become more focused, right? Being more aware of that, being like, okay, I'm about to, I really need to get this assignment done or this work project done or something along those lines, right? The whole day I've just been having like high sugar foods, way too much caffeine, or maybe, other things that I shouldn't be having. Is this going to help me or perhaps detract from my focus? Okay. So I guess they're my tips. I'll just go over them again because I'm probably speaking too quickly. But anyway, the first is your mental state will follow your physical. So find a place to focus and eliminate distractions. Second is acknowledge that your mind can't focus for long periods of time. So break up, that larger time block into small manageable chunks. The third was take those regular breaks to give your mind a chance to reset and refocus. The fourth is find a positive reinforcement activity at the end of, being focused, so that you are rewarding that behavior. And I said, speaking to your friends about your focus and your attention, I think, although it's slightly cringy to begin with, or kind of a bit strange or pretentious to begin with, can maybe encourage your friends and encourage your community, right? And I think that's the important thing to do, to have that positive reinforcement external to yourself, or just reward yourself with, a walk, or, getting that phone call, maybe watching a small YouTube clip, something along those lines. The next tip was, and the fifth tip was, just looking at how you can refocus your mind. So practicing mindfulness or meditation, And that's something I really do want to discuss as you come along, hopefully for this journey for me. So, and then the last is looking at you as a whole system, right? That idea of getting exercise in, getting a healthy diet, is especially, on those days where you are wanting to do a high amount of work, perhaps, as well as sleep, that system of who you are. So I think those are my 6 actionable steps that can really help and going forward, right? And really the key of today's topic is your attention will allow you to focus and ultimately, work towards a purpose and a bigger goal that you have. So, that attention and that currency of your attention allows you to invest in yourself and ultimately, perhaps through this process, but also through the work you do, invest in your community. And that's what I'm really big about. So look, thank you for joining me today. That was a brief one. And as I said in my return, I've had a hiatus from this podcast, and a part of that has just been I've had to focus on other things and perhaps haven't been focused enough to sit down and get this done. So as I always say, I'm going along this journey with you, excited to implement some of the things I'm talking about, some of the things I'm sharing upon. And yeah, that's it. So again, to summarize the whole podcast now, attention is a currency. We're losing our focus. There's so much around us to distract ourselves. We have to put steps in process to actually stop ourselves from being distracted and losing our focus so that we can be attentive to our goals. The next was me, actually, my thing of the week, which is waking up a little bit earlier, that 1 hour for me, maybe it's 20, 30 minutes for you, right? And just being such a game changer to have that extra time in the morning to set up the day or to do some extra work or to even as simple as, meal prep or something like that. That can be really transformational. So I'd encourage you to perhaps try that. And I'm excited to be on next week. So thank you for joining me. Hopefully you can, share this podcast around, download it, Spotify, YouTube, follow on Instagram. I'm going to be, creating as much content as I can for the next period of time. So thank you.